You disobeyed the rules, Room 666, and now only we can monetize off your videos and we have complete control.
Nobody cares. Shut up. Welcome to Room 666. Today we're going to be reviewing The Killing of a Sacred Deer, the newest film from Yorgos Lanthimos. The film star... What the Where'd the camera go? Where'd the camera go? What the fuck happened? The film stars Colin Farrell, Nicole Kidman... Yeah. Where the hell did it go? The film also stars Barry Keoghan and Rafi Cassidy. Alright. Okay, the story is about a surgeon who has a strange relationship with a young boy, and you're not gonna go anywhere? Okay. He's got a strange relationship with the young boy, and then he gives him like this weird ultimatum the young boy gives to Colin Farrell, who plays the surgeon, and shit gets weird. Don't move anywhere. Alright. Shit gets weird. But I don't want to give too much away. You just gotta see it for yourself. Alright? Yorgos Lanthimos. One of my favorite directors. Top 10 for sure. Check out The Lobster. Check out Dogtooth. Get to know his style. But The Killing of a Sacred Deer. Michael Haneke. If you don't know who that is, he directed Funny Games, and that's what I would compare this film to. It's basically like, this is the highest compliment I can give any film. It's like a film that would have came out in the 70s, a 70s psychological horror thriller. The way that Yorgos moves his camera throughout the big kind of empty white halls of the hospital, which a lot of it takes place in, and even the big house that Colin Farrell's house, the way that it moves, the camera moves through the house like it always makes you seem like you shouldn't be there. And it's just a lot of horror film directors need to take note and watch this film, because it'll show them how to create tension, how to create a sense of uneasiness, how to make you uncomfortable, and how to literally make you have no idea what's going to happen next without having to do jump scares or, silly, just loud noises or things like that. He's able to keep you engaged and kind of know where the story and what's happening, but then at the same time have absolutely no idea where it's going. And in the sense of his style and the acting in the film, it's sort of like Wes Anderson in the sense that if you see The Lobster, you see Dogtooth, you see this film, you see the same kind of style, you see the same kind of acting. It's very cold, and they just sort of say what they're going to say, and it's sort of very... I don't know, it's sort of strange. When they yell at each other, it's very a matter of fact. It's not like wild and crazy. It's very just stilted. And it's an amazing style that I think he's been able to perfect. And with The Lobster and Dogtooth, and now this. Colin Farrell wasn't in Dogtooth, but he was in The Lobster. If Colin Farrell just sticks with Yorgos, it's a dream team made in heaven. Yorgos, you're great. Killing of a Sacred Deer, one of the best horror films of the year. Colin Farrell does a great job in this film, as he did in The Lobster. In The Lobster, he played an insecure, kind of schlubby, kind of awkward type of guy. In Killing of a Sacred Deer, he plays a surgeon, so he's a little bit more, he's not socially awkward, he's a little bit more cold, a little more calculated. He knows how to handle himself in situations where there's people around. But at the same time, you still get the sense, which is kind of like a real life thing, where people are so kind of professional and so stiff and cold, that you always get the sense that there's something more desperate and sad inside of them. And Colin Farrell has done a great job in The Lobster, and even in something like In Bruges, where he's able to kind of convey that sort of sadness. There's this awkwardness to him, and, he's a surgeon, and he's able to kind of carry himself around people. He can carry himself around his wife, his kids, his coworkers, but at the same time, he still kind of has this sort of sadness in him, and this really sort of desperation that Colin Farrell does an amazing job of showing in this film, and even all the times where he's supposed to be funny, horrified, anything that Colin Farrell needs to do in this film, he does it well, and he does it in the style that Yorgos needs him to, and it works perfectly. I hope they work together all the time. It's a great performance. Let's talk about the Thunder from Down Under. Nicole Kidman. Now, she's been in a lot of stuff this year, and a lot of people have been talking about it's her renaissance and all this stuff. Well, guess what? Nicole Kidman never left. She's been doing great shit like every year, all the time, and everything she's in. She was nominated for an Oscar last year for Lion, for fuck's sake. And in this film, she shows why she's one of the best actresses working today and why she should be in films like this. Why she works with Lars von Trier, why she works with all kinds of, like Sofia Coppola and The Beguiled. Why she's so good for films like this. Literally, almost all the scenes that she's in are close-ups of her face while you hear what's happening off screen. So you hear somebody else saying something or something's happening, and it's mostly her reacting. And there's nothing better than long, still takes of Nicole Kidman reacting to shit. Because she's amazing. All in one shot, she can show you an emotion of confusion, fear, just sort of hatred. And she has this one scene where she's talking to Barry Keoghan's character, and it's just, like I said, it's just one shot on her. And all these emotions are running through her face, whether she moves an eyebrow or the way she sort of starts to speak but doesn't. She does all kinds of great things, and it's literally just with her face. She's as beautiful as ever. Nicole Kidman, you're amazing. The MVP of this film is Barry Keoghan. His performance is downright freaky as fuck. Now think of basically Norman Bates from Psycho. He basically displays this sort of weird, kind of awkward innocence, but also this sort of strange, sinister. You don't know if he wants to kill Colin Farrell or if he wants to honestly have sex with Colin Farrell. You don't know. It's a really weird relationship, and Barry Keoghan does a great job of kind of displaying these kind of weird emotions. And he also has kind of like this Joker vibe, like the scene in The Dark Knight where Batman is interrogating the Joker and kind of just beating him up and throwing him around. The Joker's just like laughing and taking it. That's basically Barry Keoghan's performance, but without all the kind of crazy theatrics and laughter. And it's really awkward. It's really, really scary because, this is a horror film. And he is basically, I don't want to give too much away, but in a lot of ways, he is sort of the reason for that horror, and does a great job of displaying that and going toe-to-toe with Colin Farrell, because most of their scenes are them together, and, oh man, they're great. But there's also Raffi Cassidy. Now, she plays the daughter of Colin Farrell, and she's also in a bunch of scenes with Barry, and she's also able to kind of display that sort of innocence and that sort of awkwardness that she needs to display because she's easily influenced by him. She's a young girl, she wants to, she's kind of exploring herself, and Barry's character is taking advantage of that. And she shows a really good range, and also just going toe-to-toe with Nicole Kidman and Colin Farrell, and just being a young girl, a young actress, she showed herself, and she did a great job. She fits in the world that Yorgos has created, and both of them are great together. Fucking hell yeah, Barry. I hope you get nominated for an Oscar. In conclusion, The Killing of a Sacred Deer is so far my favorite film of the year, but it's not for everybody. Put it this way. If you like horror films, psychological horror films, where it's not jump scares, where it's more kind of this uncomfortable feeling, I definitely would say check it out. It's certainly not going to be for everyone to rush out and see in the theaters, but if you get a chance to rent it, if you get a chance to see it on video on demand, I would definitely suggest it. It's under A24, so it's probably not going to be on video on demand. They like to put their stuff out on theaters. But if you can rent it, check it out. It's, in my opinion, one of the scariest films of the year. And I think it's a good thing they put out in October because you can enjoy it as a horror film. And it's a psychological thriller. And it's a comedy. It's all kinds of things. If you like Yorgos, check it out. If you like The Lobster, Dogtooth, run out and see this. Killing of a Sacred Deer. Don't move, camera. Don't fucking move. Alright? YouTube, I'm tired of this shit. Where you at now, YouTube? Huh? Alright? You want me? Thought you could throw the camera around and switch me up. Well, guess what? I did a perfect review. I'm right here. I'm right here, YouTube! What do you do in that shit? Where the fuck are you at, huh? Huh?
YouTube.